Hey guys, welcome back to IRL. I'm Paige, and today we're doing dating episode part 2. But I'm going to get into my random thought first. My random thought is more like random thoughts. I've got a lot of them. I've got a lot of thoughts. And I'm just going to start it off with, it's November. It sure is mid. November is just it's tough. Something about November sucks for me. I don't know if it's a universal thing or I don't know what it is. Yes, stuff is getting harder with school and it's getting colder. So I guess it would be kind of seasonal depression starting. But I feel like November and February is another one. November's just always bleh. Halloween ended and I was just distraught. I was very upset about it, honestly, because I love fall and I love Halloween. And then it ended and I was like, already? There is one good thing about November, though, that I'm going to mention. And people always roll their eyes when I say this, but Movember. Guilty as charged. I love a mustache. And it's Movember, so they're starting, and they're starting strong. I'm on the streetcar, and I'm seeing these little weird indie millennials, that's so mean, walking down Ossington, and I'm like, wow, people are looking really attractive right now. What's in the air? Mustaches. It's the mustaches. My mom is a keen believer in, mustaches and facial hair being a man's makeup. She always says that. And I'm like, wow, this is kind of female Andrew Tate moment, but I don't know. I like facial hair. So I love Movember. It happens. But okay. I just had this thought the other day, too, that I wanted to add into it because I mentioned how, in November, it gets cold, it gets crummy, it gets weird. And I was thinking about what are some fun things that can cheer me up? And everyone's always like, Christmas is coming. And that's exciting, but I don't know. I've had some, weird Christmases since moving out. It feels very weird for me. I don't know if that's a thing with other people. I know that some people are just yay, Christmas, but Christmas has felt a little bit odd to me. I love my family and I love going back to see them, and I think that really mixes with it too, and that might be it. Wow, I'm getting sad a little bit. That was not the point. Basically, I wanted to say that when it gets cold out, I think about try to think about things that make me happy, and I love the show Gilmore Girls, as a lot of people do. Gilmore Girls is a good show. It's a little bit controversial sometimes, honestly, as I rewatch it. Sometimes I'm like, wow, I can't believe that she said that. But there is a big line in it where Lorelai can smell snow. She's like, I smell snow. And then it always snows when she does that. But I was thinking, this is so off track. I'm being so somber, but I was thinking, what if you were walking on the side of the road and Lorelai Gilmore was just I smell snow? You would think she's snorting. Has anyone thought about that? I was just thinking about that because I was like, oh, that's so cute. I could Gilmore Girls Christmas, and then I was like, I smell snow. Okay, Lorelai. Anyways, I'm gonna move on from this. I just think November is existential. My parents, this is an episode where I feel weird when my family's going to watch it because, bless their hearts, they usually watch the episodes. And I love them so much. Thank you so much. But dating episode with my family watching feels so weird. And the fact that I wanted to say that in November, I just want to sit on a park bench in the freezing cold and smoke a cig. I don't have a reason for that, and my family's not going to like that very much, but it just that's what November feels like to me. So we're going to move on to something a little bit more funny and happy maybe, or maybe not. I'm feeling weird. It's November. We're going to move on to the actual theme of this episode, which is dating part 2. The first dating episode that we did Edie was still here, obviously, and we talked about like weird dating stories, stuff like that. I don't really have any more dating stories because okay, we're gonna delve into it right away. I haven't been on a date in like a year. I went through I didn't talk about this in the last episode because it was very recent and I didn't want to like have them see it maybe because we would be promoting the episode and like make them feel bad. But I went on like a couple dates with someone around this time last year and it was just like really weird. And I've noticed that like most of the dates I go on just like make me feel weird and I don't like them. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to take a little like break from that. I don't want to like get on the person. But it was weird and I was uncomfortable and I like didn't want to even think about stuff after that. Nothing like bad. It was just like, it gave me like a massive ick for a long time. So then after that, haven't been on a date in like a year and I was reminiscing about this. I was like, what should I talk about in the dating episode? Because I don't really have any more funny stories to tell. I don't really like have like juice to give. So then I was like, oh, I guess we'll talk about the lack of dating. Hey, what? Let's get into it, huh? I genuinely can't remember the last time I had like a crush on someone. It's like crazy. And I think that is a big contributor to why I'm not going on dates, because after the weird experience, well, I've had multiple weird experiences, but that one was like the last one that like really sealed the deal, that I was like, okay, I don't feel like doing this anymore. I kind of was in a headspace where I was like, I'll go on dates just for fun to like see what it's like. And I realized that I hated that. I didn't like it because I knew already that I wasn't really feeling it, but I was like, hey, you never know. And now I'm like in a headspace where I'm like, I'll go on a date if it's someone that I feel interested in. But I just haven't had that. And I think that's my main contributor to not going on dates, is that I just have a hard time liking people. I like feel like I get the ick really easily, and not even like the ick like, oh my god, like he's like running after like a ping pong ball. Like I don't like so, like it's like weird to see, but like that's not what I mean. I feel like I have a like energy that sounds so gross and cringe, but when people aren't like on the same, like if our vibes aren't meshing, then like it's just not fun. Like I don't find it enjoyable, and then what's the point, right? Why would you get into a relationship or like even just like see someone if you're like not enjoying yourself while you're with them? I feel like that's counteractive of like the whole point. So yeah, that's where I'm sitting on dating right now. Not to say that I haven't had like little crushes. Like I have tons of little crushes. I'll like see someone and be like, oh, they're cute, or like blah, blah, blah. But I'm also weird about admitting that I have a crush on someone. I don't know why, but it feels weird, and it shouldn't. Like it's not that deep, but I also feel like when I admit that I have a crush on someone, then my brain starts to think, oh, do you? Versus like if I just let myself have a little tiny crush on someone and like not really like address it, it's fine. For example, I will only admit that I am like having a crush on someone if I know that it's not achievable at all. What I mean by this is like, this is a lot, but people know this about me. I feel like I like have this really tragic, it makes me a little bit embarrassed sometimes mentioning it, but also I feel like it's not that embarrassing, but it is embarrassing. But like I have a big internet crush, as does a lot of people on Binny Hacker. Like I feel like that's so embarrassing, but a lot of people find him attractive. This is so cringe actually to talk about, but I think that with people that I know that like it's not gonna happen and it won't get back to them, I'll be like, oh yeah, it's very obvious. But I also, I'm just going on and on. When I have a crush about, like, on someone, it's usually not just about looks. I feel like I start getting, like, a crush on someone when I feel like our, like, personalities would, like, be, like, we would, like, connect like that. Because you can be attractive and I just don't care. Like, I really don't care. And then usually people who, like, are, like, attractive right off the bat end up being, my, like, eyes will, like, make them ugly. I don't know what it is. Like, it's like, yeah, it really is like, it's not about looks, it's about personality. But it really is for me, because I just, like, I have a hard time connecting with people if like, we can't talk about things. So when I, like, see people that I'm like, oh my gosh, like, we could get along in this sense, or we could get along in this sense, or, like, okay, another one of my niche internet crushes is Peter McPoland. And I know that, first of all, this isn't getting back to him. Like, this won't matter. This won't matter if I, like, say this. But one of the things that I like about him is that he's a performer. He sings, he, like, jumps around, and he, like, has a good time, and he seems, like, very passionate about music. And that's something that I share, and that's why I have a crush on him. Vinnie Hacker, there's a few things. Okay, Vinnie Hacker is actually, like, a kind of a, okay, this is mean to say. I was going to say Vinnie Hacker is kind of a loser, but but he has, like, this weird niche, like, obsession with Star Wars, and he kind of looks like Hayden Christensen a little bit, and he'll always do the Anakin, like, costume stuff. And so I had a giant Star Wars Anakin phase, and I have, like, fan cams on my Instagram save to prove it. But just, like, knowing that we both are, like, obsessed with Anakin and stuff like that, it's, like, weird niche things. Or, like, he plays guitar and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that, like, sticks out to me more than, like, oh, you're attractive and I want to kiss you. And also, like, I don't really think about that stuff at first. And I feel like, especially at the age that I'm at right now, sexuality in the sense of, like, being intimate with another person is, like, pretty prevalent. We're young 20s in college, and I just, like, I don't think about that as much as I feel like other people may think about it. And I think that creates, like, I don't know. There's a lot. Obviously, like, I'll admit my crush is on, like, Paul Mescal and, like, Pedro Pascal and stuff like that, because that's easy. But I don't know. It's, like, a weird thing. If I have a crush on you, I probably won't talk to you, because it feels weird to me, and I don't want to, like, I don't know. That's where I'm at right now with dating. I'm not vibing with dating recently. This past year, I've not been vibing with dating. Just don't feel like it, honestly. Just don't feel like it. And the, like, feeling after going on a date that you didn't really like is just awful. Like, you kind of just, like, go home and you're just like, ugh. Like, I feel gross. Like, I want to, like, shower it out. And I can't. And so I'm just like, I'll wait until someone I like approaches me. And that's probably not going to happen. But until I find the confidence to approach them, hey, we'll see. We'll see. Something else that I wanted to talk about, actually, this is so funny. So I mentioned that I like facial hair. I feel like people have this idea of a type that I'm into. And yes, I am into, like, this type, but it's, like, grown to a point where if anyone sees anyone with a mustache and tattoos, they're like, Paige, you would think they're so hot. Hey, no, I wouldn't. That's not true. Like, don't go around saying that to people. Like, that's not true. I remember I had a roommate, and she brought a guy home while I was still on holidays. This is kind of me being a little bit mean, but actually it's not, because I just, like, I don't think it's a big deal to air out that she did not even think of mentioning that she was going to have a stranger in our shared apartment that we all pay for. And she didn't tell me at all that she had this. She communicated it through my other roommate, and was like, oh yeah, by the way, I didn't tell you guys, but I did have someone over and while you guys were gone. We also, like, our apartment was really small and we don't have like locks on the doors. I didn't even have a real door. So it was like all of our stuff is just like out in the open there. So it's, if you have roommates, you should be letting them know that someone's coming over every single time. I stand by that. Every single time you should. It's so easy, even just 5 minutes before you walk in the door, to be like, hey, I have someone coming in to our shared space that we all pay rent for. Personally, I believe that is like, it's like common courtesy. Like, what if I'm like in my undies? Hey, what if I'm home alone in my undies and you walk in and there's suddenly a strange man that I've never met before staring at me in my chonies? I don't like it. I don't like it. But regardless, that's a different story. She told my roommate, she was like, yeah, he was like totally Paige's type. If she was here, she probably would have thought he was cute. First of all, I'm not interested in who you're seeing. That's another thing. Oh my gosh, a big thing about dating with me, like if someone is even like on the cusp of like seeing another person, I'm like not interested, because I just like, I don't mess with cheating, and that's not cheating, but it just like feels like I really don't mess with cheating. And like when people are in relationships, like, I don't know, like it's weird. Like, I don't know. If you're friends with someone and it goes past a point of like, oh yeah, they're attractive, whatever, that's fine, whatever. Like, you can acknowledge that people are attractive, but when you start, I don't know, it's like a weird line. And like, if one of my friends is seeing someone, I'm not looking at that person like, oh, they're so cute, I want to be cute around them. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care about that person. Like, I'm not involved with that person. But it was so weird, and I was not attracted to this man. Let's get back on track. I was not attracted to this man. Just because he had tattoos and a mustache, that doesn't mean everything to me. Like, yes, there's like a trend of that maybe, but like, I'm not looking for a woman with a mustache. Like, I'm not going to date not that that's a bad thing, but like, I wouldn't date a woman with a mustache, so that cuts right down the middle off of that being like automatically attracted to that. I mean, like, if Victoria Pedretti pulled up with a mustache, I don't think I would deny it, but that's a very specific niche thing, you know what I mean? I'm not looking for a girl with a mustache. So I think that validates that just because a man would have a mustache doesn't mean that I'm looking for a man with a mustache. That's not a signifying factor in that, and that doesn't mean that I'm going to find them hot. I just want to get that out of the air. I get people messaging me all the time, sending me just random dudes on TikTok with mustaches. They're like, look at this guy's so your type. No, he's not. No, he's not. That guy looks like Urkel. I don't know. That's how I feel about I feel like I actually, like, the more that I talked about this episode, the angrier that I sound. I'm just like, I'm like a dating hater right now, I guess. I don't hate dating. To be honest, I also have a big thing. I'm like running out of time, but I also have a big thing with just, I don't know, like it's not that I don't want to be in a relationship. I have nothing against like dating someone or being in a relationship. Secretly, I would love it. I would love to be in a relationship, but I just haven't found it yet. And I'm not going to like with the Halloween costumes, I'm not going to settle. You know what I mean? And I know that it'll make me feel icky and make me feel weird. So that's why I have been avoiding it. Not because I am picky, I guess. I guess that this all comes down to like me being a little bit picky, but I just like, I just see so many people like wasting so much time on like garbage people that they don't get along with either. And I think that that's another thing. It's just like, I don't have the mental capacity to even deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. So I just don't. Like, I just avoid it. Hey, who knows? Maybe after this episode, I'm going to meet the love of my life. Maybe. I'm also not the kind of person who will date with any further intent, but I'm also not going to just date because either. If that makes sense. Like, if I'm dating you, it's because I like you and I, like, want to spend time around you. Doesn't mean that I think that we're going to get married. Doesn't mean that I even want to get married. Who even knows what I want at this point? I'm 21, but I just, I don't know. I don't know. That's where I stand with dating. It doesn't make any sense. I know it doesn't, but that's all I have for you guys. I also am once again off of all dating apps because they started making me feel like garbage again. They started making me feel really sad and bad about myself. So I deleted them all again. I'm going to wrap up this episode. Hey, Mom and Dad, how are you feeling now? I'm going to plug the socials. I'm also going to mention that we have 2 new members in our IRL team, Carol and Jordan. They joined, and I didn't mention them yet because I forgot last episode. Sorry, guys. But we are hitting a few seconds left. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, podcast_IRL. We also have linktree podcast_IRL, where you can find our YouTube and all of our links to the podcast on all streaming platforms. I said services last time and I messed up. I'm sorry. And I'll see you next time. If you want to date, hit me up. Bye.